Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first ever NDTV Auto Conclave. Auto Conclave driving the future of mobility in India, presented by True Alt Bioenergy with JK Tires as our special partner and Skoda Auto India, Lectrix EV and Motorola as associate sponsors. We are at a defining moment for the automotive world, a transformative crossroads where innovation has to meet responsibility and sustainability to drive progress. India, with its bold vision and pioneering spirit, is poised to lead this change towards a brighter mobility future. This conclave is a convergence of the brightest minds. Industry leaders, policymakers, and innovators come together to chart the course of the future of mobility in India.
According to the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, 168,491 people were killed and 443,366 injured in 461,312 road crashes in India in 2022. Now in 2023, unfortunately, India continues to top road accidents fatalities globally with over 1.72 lakh deaths in road crashes. You had come out with the India Status Report on Road Safety 2024 in respect with the international goals of reducing road accident fatalities. Where are we on that?
So we looked at our data and we looked at the disaggregate data by state-wise. And in last 5 years, we find there are 10 states where the number of deaths have come down. But unfortunately, in the remaining states, the number of deaths have increased. And overall, total number of deaths continue to increase.
Mr. Garg, that's where I would like to come to you. When you were here in Delhi during your tenure, there was a significant dip in the number of deaths. When we talk about road accidents, also drunken driving. If you could tell us, what did you do right during that time and what is the learning experience that other people could learn from this?
When we were there, managing traffic of Delhi for 3 years, we saw within 3 years deaths coming down from 2,325 to 1,866 within 3 years, which is about 20% reduction. So as you mentioned, we did a lot of things differently from what was being done earlier.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us. I'm joined by a very special guest, Anish Saad, Group CEO and Managing Director of the Mahindra Group, a federation of companies that spans over 20 industries across more than 100 countries. Under Dr. Shah's leadership, Mahindra is not only driving innovation in traditional sectors, but is also making bold strides in the electric vehicle market. With models like the BE6 and the XEV9e, Mahindra is redefining mobility and cutting-edge technology. Let's delve into how Mahindra is steering towards a sustainable future, the challenges of the EV industry, and the group's expansive vision for global growth. Thank you very much, Dr. Anish Shah, for being with us. It's wonderful to speak to you once again. I suppose the first question that I must ask you is on your new electric vehicles. They are fantastic to look at. They've sort of stolen my heart. You're forcing me to put some money away for them. But the designs are radical. And some would suggest that would have been a real leap of faith. How radical do you go with your car designs? What is Mahindra's philosophy?
Vishnu, our philosophy is to create the best products that we can for customers. We want them to be compared with products in multiple segments above where we are. And we're redefining quality for the Indian customer. Because what we have created in our ICE vehicles over the past few years, as well as in our EV vehicles today, is a very, very different level of quality. And that encompasses design, right? Handling, interiors, safety, performance, all factors.
Welcome to the next session today at the NDTV Auto Conclave. Let's talk about the dawn of new energy vehicles, a pivotal discussion on the transformative shift in India's automotive landscape. As the world transitions towards a more sustainable future, new energy vehicles are emerging as a game changer. With the government's push for electrification, NEVs are poised to revolutionize the way India moves. Today, we delve into the opportunities, challenges, and future prospects of NEVs in India and explore how these vehicles can propel the country towards a cleaner, greener, and a more sustainable transportation future. It's really a pleasure to have you both with us. I think to begin with, I would want to know about what both the companies are doing. Let's begin with you, Jyoti. Let's talk about Volvo. What really are they doing when it comes to a more sustainable future?
First of all, thank you to have me here in this conclave. And I think it's very apt that we're talking about new energy vehicles.
Yeah.
Because at Volvo, we are pushing towards a future which is more sustainable and with electrification in the center. Our aim is that over a period of time, we believe that we need to push for electrification. And by end of this decade, we want to get to a higher number of electric cars.
Yeah.
And that is required because it is not that our company needs it. I think it is required from a larger perspective because the planet needs it. Because I think sustainability is something which we need to solve and we need to take care of now.
Satinder, your take on what the company is doing?
So, thank you very much, first of all, for having us here. And namaskar to all of you. I think as JSW MG Motors India, I just tell you one thing, that out of the total portfolio that we have today and what we sell in the Indian market, almost 60% of that, more than 60%, what we sell is new energy vehicles, right? As an organization, we are a very, environment conscious organization right from the beginning. And we know what role as a responsible manufacturer that we need to play. And therefore, we were pioneers in terms of bringing in the good technology, EVs to the country. And we continue to do that.
Well, I'm delighted to be here with Pratap Bose, the visionary chief designer behind Mahindra's striking vehicle lineup. Known for his transformative designs at Mahindra, Pratap will share insights into the creative process that's redefining Indian automotive aesthetics.
Thank you, NDTV. What a pleasure to be here, albeit virtually. Vishnu, in the life of a car designer, you have very few chances to actually start with a clean sheet of paper. And, when we started this whole project in 2021, around June, July, when I joined the company, it was literally a clean sheet of paper. And I had a one-line brief from Rajesh Jejurikar, who's the executive director. He just said, Pratap, design a set of EVs which are truly desirable. Design a set of cars which are truly desirable, and then they happen to be EVs. So that's the thought process we went in with. We were also creating our new electric origin architecture called InGlobe. So it was an amazing time to work with the engineers, the product planners, to really define what this future EV lineup would be. And in August 22, we actually showed 5 vision cars. And, just earlier last month, or 26th of November, we brought 2 of those into the world.
Maruti Suzuki, the one company that has been able to weather all sorts of challenges and remained on top of India's passenger vehicle segment. Maruti gears up to launch its first electric vehicle in India next month. I now have the privilege of speaking to Mr. Rahul Bharti, ED Maruti Suzuki Limited. Thank you so much, Rahul-san, for joining us today. Now, I know you are going to launch EV, but I want to first dive straight into Maruti's position in global world. We have seen Maruti increase its export portfolio multifold over the last few years.
That's true.
So, what propelled you to do that, and how is the journey going, and how are you making sure that Maruti Suzuki becomes the global auto powerhouse?
I think multiple reasons. The first is the domestic demand growth alone cannot satisfy our ambition for Viksit Bharat. Whether it is for the country or for our company, our growth ambitions need a complementarity which can come from global trade. And exports is an ocean. Global trade, India still has not captured a large part of the world. When we talk about the domestic market size, we are third in the world of the car market. We are the third largest car market of the world. But in terms of exports, we are probably around the 10th. The top 10 are in millions. We are still in lakhs. So we have an amazing amount of headroom ahead of us, and it's lying there to capture.
Please welcome Mr. Sanjay Kapoor, the leader behind Soda Comstar, a global powerhouse in automotive ancillary. That's what we used to say earlier, but now is auto tech. Now, first of all, tell us about this transition from being an auto ancillary manufacturer to focusing a lot on tech as well.
So I think more than just auto to tech, it's auto to mobility. If we look at our industry, it's actually transformed from an automotive industry to supply into the mobility industry. And when I talk about mobility, it could mean any form of mobility, from drones to bots to to any form of mobility which is being used either for people or carrying goods, etc. That's one part of it. The second part is, if you look at the way the industry is disrupting, technology has become essential now. Companies have to invest in R&D, companies have to invest in technology just to stay current. And then, of course, where companies want to look into the future, you have to invest in technology. Technology has become absolutely key to survival. The fact is that with disruption that's happening, not just from a customer requirement, but even from regulation. And when you look at disruption in terms of safety, or if you look at it, disruption in terms of even mobility from a shared perspective, or, and your famous case, which is, which involves autonomous, electric, and shared. So, it's essential to invest in technology.
Maruti Suzuki, the one company that has been able to weather all sorts of challenges and remained on top of India's passenger vehicle segment. Now we will be taking the discussion forward with Mr. Hisashi Takeuchi, MD and CEO, Maruti Suzuki India Limited. May I request you, sir, to come on stage, please? We are thrilled to have you here, Takeuchi-san. The first question I have for you is, Maruti has been a leader in the Indian automobile sector. Now, what do you believe has been the key to its long-standing success, and how do you envision the company's future in India over the next decade?
Okay, so first of all, thank you very much for inviting me for this very exciting event. And everybody understands that how we started our business in India. So our company is aiming to put India on wheel. That is the aim. And at that time, together with the passion of Indian people, together with the Japanese technology, make it possible to introduce very innovative car at that time, Maruti 800, and that is the start of Indian automobile story. And now India became the third largest market in the world.
But what are the key challenges that you see in Indian market, and what is Maruti Suzuki doing to overcome those challenges?
So the real challenge is, our dream to put India on wheel is half, achieved, but still, in terms of car penetration, India is only like 30 cars per 1,000 people, which is like in the developed market, it is about 600. So we still have, opportunity to grow 20x from now.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Deepak Jain, for joining us today. Mr. Jain is Chairperson Lumax Group, are named synonymous with excellence and innovation in the automotive industry. We are thrilled to have you here, Mr. Jain. Thank you so much. Now, Indian component industry has become a big manufacturing hub. We already spoke about it, almost 25% of manufacturing GDP. And I saw that number, I was actually really surprised. Tell us, what are the core strengths of Indian component manufacturing industry?
Thank you very much for having me over. I think the component industry is very diverse. You know, it's got the domestic OEM, it's got the aftermarket, it's also got a massive export opportunity. And I think recently with the trends, there is also a balance which the component industry has to do between value and volume. Because as the regulations are coming in, there is a massive value upstreaming which is happening in the component industry.
We will now focus on the love of riding. Thanks, Ravi, for joining us today and talking about your passion for riding. First question to you, how big is this leisure riding industry in India, and how has it grown in over the last few years that you have seen it?
Well, it would be difficult to put a number to it, but I think what has been driving...
I want experience.
What's been driving that boom in India is a realization that you don't necessarily need great infrastructure to go touring. In fact, the lack of it very often makes for a better motorcycling experience. But that increase in infrastructure over the last few years makes it easier getting to places. Mm-hmm. Now you can get to Manali. If you leave in the morning, you can be there in the evening. And it's quite easy to get up to the Himalayas. A person can take a week off and do a reasonable trip. Also, we've seen more infrastructure come up. Also, we have a race circuit in Delhi, which we didn't have 15 years ago. So we've seen a lot of improvement in both the sports side of it and also the touring side of it. And it's been positive.
You know, India is a little bit of a difficult market in the sense that, yes, biking community is rising, but we've also seen that the top premium market is not seeing as much growth as it was expected earlier. What's the reason for that? Have you ever given it a thought?
I've given it lots of thought, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think there's been a boom in the middleweight segment, and to define that, that's the segment between 350 and 500 cc, priced roughly between 2 lakhs and 4 lakhs, and that's somewhat affordable when you break it down into EMIs. And it takes a lot of riding before someone actually has more skill than the motorcycle does, before he's actually outgrown that motorcycle. And I think it's a lot more usable, it's economical, so there's a gravitation towards the middleweight segment.
Today, we are graced by the presence of a visionary leader, a dedicated public servant, and a true champion of innovation and development. Under his remarkable leadership, India's infrastructure landscape has transformed significantly, setting benchmarks in road connectivity, sustainable development, and futuristic planning. We are truly privileged to have him here today to share his insights and inspire us with his wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our chief guest for the NDTV Auto Conclave, Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, Honorable Minister of Road, Transport and Highways, Government of India. May I invite Mugdha Mishra, Editor, NDTV Auto, and Vishnu Shom, Group Executive Editor, NDTV, to escort Shri Gadkari ji on stage.
Come, sir. Sir, आपको एक बटन दबाना है यहाँ to launch our
हमारी NDTV Auto की वेबसाइट लॉन्च कर रहे हैं. This is the button, sir.
डिजिटल टैबलेट है, इसी पे जैसे आवाज आ गई ना, मैं शेड्यूल
We'll gear up now for an electrifying conversation with the Union Minister Nitin Gadkari. He is the architect behind India's road revolution. We'll delve into the high-octane world of India's transport sector, from world-class highways reshaping our landscapes to the surge in electric vehicles sparking a green revolution. Throughout the day, we focused a lot on India's transition to electric vehicles, EVs. The numbers we have in India, while encouraging, still lag behind, for example, China. But it is your endeavor to actually make us a global leader. What are you doing to ensure that happens?
Our automobile industry is very important as far as the economic growth of our country is concerned. When I taken charge as minister, the size of the industry was 7 lakh crore. And our number was something 7th in the world. But today we just surpassed Japan, and now our number is 3rd, and the volume of our industry is 22 lakh crore. Now the USA is number 1, having the size of 78 lakh crores. The second number is China, it is 47 lakh crore, and India is 22 lakh crore. I am confident that within 5 years, our Indian automobile industry will be number 1 in the world. You just see that. The way in which the industry is developing. And presently, I always telling to people कि हम आज ऊर्जा को आयात करने वाला देश है. हाइड्रोजन शुरू होने के बाद ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन, हम ऊर्जा को निर्यात करने वाला देश बनेंगे. हम ऊर्जा को निर्यात करेंगे. I feel that it is in the reach. It is going to happen.
We talk about sustainability, but we have to get rid of scrap metal efficiently. What is the solution?
First of all, I will give the thanks to automobile industries. They are now the person who have their car scrapping certificate. They are getting 2 to 3% discount for purchasing new car or new vehicle. So that is to be first thing. Second thing, we have some 60, 70 plants already started. But the fitness center we don't have.
Right.
That where every district will have 4 to 5 fitness centers and at least 10 to 20 driver training centers where this combination will be economically viable and 100%. After this certificate of their fitness, then we can take the decision for scrapping of that car.
Round of applause for that. We're on this program, we've got the minister saying that within hours he's going to push to get this done by signing documentation. Thank you, sir. Sir, it's always wonderful speaking to you. You're really a visionary, and I think the takeaway for us is matching ecological concerns, development concerns. It all has to come together in a balanced policy which looks at road safety, which looks at the well-being of our citizens, which looks at the future of our highways. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your time.